Okay, so we are going live and and okay, today I want to do something I haven't done in like ages, and that's actually doing an analysis of one of my recent games. The game we will look at is happened yesterday as Kalazan, and it was quite an epic game, but I also realized that I did like multiple misplays. And since I was very aggressive, lots of wars, we can actually talk a lot about how other player acted to stop me. And yeah, so we will just jump into the game. I don't will watch like the whole game, I will skip over it. So maybe let's start with the early game. First thing that's like suboptimal is that I would like to have a planet here as well, because that's like slightly closer to Nexus, but we at least have an immediate populous planet. Sadly, we lose one construction to another planet, but that's something we have to accept. Early research, second construction is coming in late, but not a turn 5 draw, so that's fine. Trade and faction edict on the turn 5 draw is also very good for us. We don't need to be worried, starting hand is fine. So here I think I had immediately a very big choice because I clicked research. And as a Kalazan, you're pretty happy to see this. Of course, like +1 for capitals would have maybe been a better thing to get here, but cranial implants is super strong. Zero G barracks is at least the second best tech on Nano 1, and I have compulsory service, which is super good for Kalazan because I immediately hit that threshold of 20 army strength. And I will look around here a little bit because this is like a super difficult decision because I actually don't have enough support to get all the things done I want to do. Because I'm playing Conqueror, so I want to take planets, but if I now pay the compulsory service, I will only be able to do one more action. And in the end, what I decide to do is I decide to not politic, because politicking is basically pay 2 actions to do 1. And I decided that I don't need the tempo of an extra action this early on, and I can use politic research later. Big reasons that I have double politic, otherwise I would have maybe researched something and only did like a single action. When I'm revisiting this, you can see I'm building a mine here on my main planet. Maybe that's a misplay. Maybe I can go for just don't research, don't construct here. Move only one fleet down here. Yeah, hard to tell now. But now we get a pretty clean movement. I don't think we have to talk about every single step in the early game, so maybe let us skip ahead a little bit. As you can see, there's one little misplay here. On turn 5, when I draw the rally, I cannot play it. I decided that it's not too bad, but it still felt slightly suboptimal. And I also just expand super quickly. This plan was really good because it already had a support on it. And now I decide that I want to go Legion Barracks. And I want to keep all my slots here open. I have lots of populous planets with lots of slots to build a bunch of Legion Barracks. So maybe I will put this on 2 times the speed. Let's skip ahead a little bit. So now we can see we picked up the 5 army strengths for our first research, and now we go for cranial implants. We get a research done, like exploration done over here. We're moving towards Nexus. I waited to move my capital fleet until I had vision, so I have to use less actions. Kalazan is pretty support hungry, and you don't start with a support plan, so that's pretty important to save that. And yeah, now the follow-up turn, we just continue our grind. Like we can check which tech I pick up here. Apparently. Oh, yeah, right. We actually find artifact research here, which of course is super good. And here I considered if I want to go extra radar movement, but in the end I decided to go for the extra sensor range, because that actually can be very useful and it felt also very strong in this game. And then I go 0G barracks because I cannot research the same stuff. That's fine. And I double take the planets, take the Legion barracks this turn. I considered delaying it, but in the end I decided like the turn I didn't have enough actions to do anyways because I don't have a good command target, so I just did it. And yeah, now Legion barracks spam started. I used my first politic into it. I continue expanding and the first Nexus comes around and Glebsek gets it. Glebsek goes for C1 Nexus, very well done. And we have culture stuff. I didn't went for any culture, which is quite unusual for me, but I just felt like I missed the support to get those actions in. So now titles. Here, of course, Admiral is something I would be ready to contest, but I'm a little bit scared that people will just out-tech me, and normally when you are actively fighting, it's more difficult to get Admiral, and I want to fight. Intrusive is also fine if you play aggressively. Then there's Producer. Producer is very nice because I'm already leading and most people already expanded quite a bit. So it's relatively likely that I could actually maybe secure this title. Also, I can take additional planets and get it for sure. And then there's Builder, which is also very good for war. So overall, very strong titles, but Unity is very scary. So here what I do is, in the end, I decide to go for Builder because I feel like that's the title. Oh no, I don't go for Builder. I go for Producer because I'm just ahead. Builder I think would have also been fine. And then I go one vote into Clean Slate because if people are voting for Unity, I need to be able to get rid of those pacts. And I decided that maybe if we get Unity this time, because maybe Glebzik wants to hold Nexus, puts all 8 votes into it, then this resolution will be carried over because at least one person voted for it, and next council I can full YOLO, clean slate, and then go to war. Actually, the result is slightly different here. We actually exactly tie the resolution, which results in no resolution being picked. So this is a little bit problematic because now I have to most likely break stuff because delaying wars after turn 16 is fine, but not fighting like or getting stopped during a full-fledged war on turn 16 when people can vote for Unity is pretty dangerous. Producer goes through, but we will also see that Yondar will have enough planets. So we just continue spamming our Blood Region barracks. Here I decide to go for one culture because it cannot really be contested down here, or at least it's like very hard. Basically, Yondar has to culture 4 planets before he can reach. In the end, it turned out to not matter too much. I don't get any culture points for a very long time. And here consider how I can fight the Gleb player. And I ask the Yondar player for non-aggression pact. That's a pretty dangerous play, but it allows me to, basically I don't want to fight Yondar because they're too powerful military-wise, and the NAP gives me lots of options to move to Gleb, to the Killik player up here, and also to flank Nexus if I want to attack it. So now I send out a warning. basically telling everybody that I want Nexus and you better not contest it. We actually take an I need to see that again. I take an extremely unlucky combat here. I have 10 more strengths, but I actually roll 79% to 109%, and I lose every single fleet in the attack. I was super unlucky and actually sets me back quite a bit here, because otherwise I could have just built up fleets here and then immediately went into Nexus, but now I have to build a starbase. Yeah, we checked, we go research for military, and here I decide to build the starbase back here because I need to supply my front line. And the position is still decent to have a starbase over here. So yeah, I just go for it. Now we will see Ava Bren trading Nexus. And up until this point, it's mostly like early game build up. Nothing super important happened. I actually lack science here and I decide to just not care. I offer him a deal to get more armies, to get more military strength, and a non-aggression pact. I start building capitals, I start building up a raider fleet. And now we can see trade to the other brand player. And yeah. So now I immediately declare war. And this was also a very big call. Because, yeah, as you can see, what I realized here is this big defensive fleet is stuck at Colin for at least one more turn. So if I move in this turn, I can actually steal away Nexus before he can reaches it. And then he has to pay all the army strength to take it back. So that's why I declare war this turn. I only need to sacrifice one ship here. I check if there's any good commands. Besides, that's not the case. Research is not possible, but we see some decent text at least. No damage control, sadly. And I decide to go for extra draw because I have a lot of support, so I can sustain drawing 4 edicts. Otherwise, if you don't have a good support eco, you can also pick the reduce fleet actions cost by 1 support. Now, of course, I'm expecting for other brand to attack after me and obviously try to take the planet back. We build up even more army strength. Here I focus on the support planets or on the populous planets with my army strength buildings because I know that the industrial planets will be very important to get research and ammunitions later because that's just very efficient. And now here I decide that maybe if I full YOLO everything onto Nexus, I might be able to defend it even. So instead of building up this fleet, I will send it in. And I will also build a raider that can join the fight next turn. And now we are getting some very good deals. I consider this deal for quite a while because Aspal is such a scary Diplo player. But in the end, there's a very good move by Strat and he will delay taking the planet. Because if he now takes the planet, he will actually lose a lot of strength on the planet. But if he takes it in the last possible turn, I will have used all my fleets against his full power. So still, I think if I maybe high roll this, I could theoretically be able to maybe bring him below 4 ships because his reinforcement got cut off. I build up more fleets in the back. I decide to go for extra combat strengths here, make it even more likely. Just do a bunch of pacts, basically normal stuff. Continue exploration. And I will skip ahead a little bit again because now I will be unable to take Nexus, or like unable to deny him from taking Nexus. And we should go to the next voting session because this is very interesting. Now I will go for Builder because I am lined up for going to war. I invested huge amounts of resources into army strength, and basically nobody can contest me. So Builder is very good because I will be able to take planets left and right. Of course, UNE is a very scary opponent. And I continue to put votes into Clean Slate because I expect Unity to go through here. And this is exactly what will happen. Actually, Unity will be voted for. You will have Admiral keeping up and Intimidator. Basically lots of titles here in the back. Not really clear which one will be next. So now we have a non-aggression pact, and normally this is catastrophic for a Kalazan player because now you will have to eat -2 points against everybody you want to attack, and they get warned before you attack. But I have one big advantage, and that's that Avebren just sacrificed a huge amount of armies, or fleets, army strength of course something different, to take Nexus, so he's very weak. And therefore I decide to immediately pressure him by first trying to take the planet behind him. This won't be successful because if he immediately moves his capital fleet back, he can take the planet first, and that's exactly what will happen. So now I'm deviating from my plan. Instead of going for this planet, I decide to go over here to get a flank on Avebren. Because still, I don't want to mess with a Yondar player. But thanks to Unity, I can actually just go through all the territory and set up a big flank on Yondar. I also got traded a ranged fleet, which I will now use to improve. Normally I wouldn't go ranged fleet here, but it's just additional tempo because I don't have to move a capital fleet out of my star base and all that stuff. So yeah, otherwise we're just playing quickly here. And I decide, yeah, we of course lose the ship down there. I will here, of course, the plasteel materials is very strong. But if I pick this one, I get a chance to get Physics 6 +3 for all capital ships 2 turns later. So I think Physics 5 should be the pick here. I prepare science so I can actually go for the big physics play. Yeah, difficult decision. I diplomacy Kirlik because Aspar will surely take my offers. And I go for, what do I go for here? I actually go for more ammunitions. That sounds pretty valid. And now I should break my non-aggression pact with the Avebren player. I also go for advanced naval drills, which is, I would say normally standardized patterns is better, but I really felt like I would have enough ammunitions to make this worth it. I really want to see. Yeah, I get extra support and I break the non-aggression pact. And now we will actually see a great invasion. And we can also see the big reason why I said losing all his ships was a huge problem. We also hit capitals +3. And we can declare war. And he has no defense at all. Back here we start building up another fleet. And I decide to not use politic, it's just a little bit too expensive. And I really want to build more Legion barracks. Explore, of course, should be positive value. So Ether Drake is found, that's very important. And I will use all my exploration to get even more science. Now I pick up the plasteel, get even more ammunitions. At this point, pretty cool, I'm down to nearly, sorry, over here. In the bottom you can see I only have 2 materials per turn. But of course, that's fine because I can actually use the extra materials to get I can get extra materials from taking planets, and I'm invading anyways. Now, delayed by 1 turn, I move in my ranged fleet, so it will actually be in position when I attack the next planet. And this turn has a huge misplay, because for some reason I thought I could take this planet. But the problem is I can only take this planet if he doesn't move anything in here. And if he does not move anything in here, I can also just move my raider fleet in. This was just a miscalculation by 1 turn. And yeah, Ava of course asks why he has to be tortured by me. And now you see the problem. Now I cannot move in here. And actually, if I would have moved in the turn before, the starbase construction would have been cancelled. And I think he would even lose all the resources spent. So that would have been a huge play. Would have also given me the builder title, but I misplay. And I want to fight, so I can build more Legion barracks. And I'll use the raider I sent in afterwards to take the planet, so my main fleet can immediately move on. Offer him a deal. Takes this. And it's game on. So this is very interesting. I'm last place. I also won't win a lot of points. But I actually, at this point in the game, I already feel like I'm heavily ahead. Because I will eat big parts of the other Bren player. I don't think he can really contest me. And afterwards, I will just be a complete monster military-wise. I'm already at 100 army strength. Nobody else can contest me here. And that makes, like, if you are behind in army strength by a big margin, wars are just like nearly impossible to win, especially like long wars. And I'm ready to like just go to war with people for like the rest of the game, basically. Here, we're moving in even more stuff, and I make a very important play. I basically make this offer to Yondar. So this is maybe a turning point in the game. I know that I'm basically second last place here. So first impression might be, sure, I can give Nexus to one of the last places in the game. But I have insane army strength, so if I take over Nexus, it will be very, very difficult to retake. On the other hand, Yondar knows that probably declining this pact means that I will try to take Nexus in another way. And Yondar does not really want to mess with me. Of course, he's not weak. Like, Yondar is one of the strongest military factions in the game. But he cannot deal with my army strength. We are close to each other. I don't even need to take Nexus to really hurt him. Like, if we have a war and he puts all his fleets on Nexus, I will backdoor him, take all his planets, and he probably even loses the game if that happens. I might not win, but he definitely loses. So he's basically in a position where he's like, okay, I have to save my own skin here. In hindsight, because I will win this game, this was maybe a point where Yondar could have declined and asked other players for help on Nexus. Basically tell everybody, I either give Nexus to the Kalazan player, or I need the help of all of you because he will win if he gets Nexus. But I think it's understandable that the read is not made. I'm dead last, so you don't expect to be like super cautious of that player. Yeah, explain to Strat why I am attacking him. He's saying it won't work. I will teach him that it actually does work. Yeah, here I have 0 votes, so not much I can do. Admiral is very good for me, but Bren has so many votes, and let's see. What are people voting? Oh, we missed the voting. Ah, I'm too quick. Okay. We get Industrialist. Admiral is still in the game, but have the highest material income. Maybe Bren even picked this because it's good against me, but I think also because he can hope to get like second or third place on this very easily. Here I decided that I've already broken 1 NAP, so now canceling all pacts will also lose me a lot of tempo, so I don't need to go for this any longer. I get a huge amount of XP from this resolution, by the way, without voting for it, which is crazy. Over here we have a huge fight, and shockingly, thanks to moving in my ranged fleet, we are actually favored to win this. I now decide to pick my ultimate. This basically lets me deploy even more ships on the Yondar player, on the other brand player, which should pretty much seal his fate. I get extra research. I culture an advanced planet, and I'm able to pick up, this was quick, but I'm able to pick up +4 for all capital ships, which of course is huge. Here I consider piecing him, but I decide, well, if I'm winning this fight, why should I be peaceful? I actually get Nexus. So now not having peace is super good because maybe somebody else will try to challenge me on Nexus. I spawn in capitals over there. And I will start to do some culture. I feel I can maybe squeeze out a few points there. And people are trading me a lot. Like, people did not consider me a contestant for the win. And this is a small misplay. Or was it a misplay? I invade this planet with my radar because that's likely to win the fight, but actually he has a ground battery. But maybe he also builds this the turn I attack. And I would want to check one more thing, and that's actually the combat over here. Oh, that's interesting. He actually rolls 12% higher than me, and he still loses by quite a bit. Which makes sense because my ranged ship has like an advantage against his ships and is screened, so it just basically shoots him down full force the whole fight. Okay. Yeah. Now this fight just ends. And probably at this point, we can make a big jump ahead. Like, it's difficult. Title is above the turn count, but it's slightly after the third council, so like turn 28, something like that. I'm very certain that I will get Builder here. I'm certain I can hold Nexus. And let's skip ahead quite a bit. Because basically now the upcoming turns is people giving me diplomacy. I will take all the other Brent planets and then I will offer him peace, and Strat actually takes the peace. I think that's a reasonable play. He's still in a very strong position, and he knows that probably just by using culture and diplomacy, he might be able to get at least a very high positioning. But if he keeps on fighting me, I might even take all his remaining planets because he got one planet here in the back. So we are mostly defending. We get the peace. And oh wait, this actually want to see the results of the next council. So I jump up quite a bit. But Alec actually Killick takes the lead with a bunch of megas. Here Yoon goes super crazy on votes, so I actually won't be able to get Abundant Admiral, even though I felt quite confident that this will go through. But actually Abundant is voted for. This is also what happens. Abundant goes through with all the Yoon votes. And now here I have to make a late game plan. And you can see my ships moving in here. Because of course, by far the best target for me is Killick. Why? There are two big reasons. One of them is Killick is going for army strength. So basically he says, well, I will have very high army strength, and even if I'm not able to like beat all my opponent's fleets, he will still have a hard time taking my planets. There's just one problem. My army strength is completely through the roof, and even with his extremely high army strength for Killick standards, he's not even close to defending his planets with army strength. So I know that his fleets will be weaker than mine. I can easily take his planets, so yeah, time to set up the war. We move here to the front. Here I realize that Yondar has an edict to halve all fleets in a system, so I will actually move them slightly different to lower the chance of getting hit by that. Yeah, I'm also moving this into a nebula. Basically, I'm just like getting all the positions that look good to me. We're doing even more trading, getting extra ammunitions. Also here, I decided to go for the ether drake. So I sent like a full fleet back here with 187 and I sent a support raider. And I know that even if if ether drake is stolen, like attacking UNE is also not a bad play. And yeah, we take one last offer, then we break the non-aggression pact. And now I realize there's no connection from this planet. So I'm saying to myself, that's not a problem. I just move up here and I will reach ether drake from over here. Turns out I'm getting completely scammed because there's also no connection from this populous planet, which is very unlucky. But it's fine. We're taking out some space spawn at our base and we wait the turn. And now it happens. He reduces my ships by half. And luckily he's not ready to break non-aggression pact yet. If he now decides to shoot me, I would have been in big trouble. Yeah, I now find out that there's no connection here either. So I need to enter war territory. And that's too long of a way now. So instead, I go for breaking non-aggression pact against UNE, attacking him next turn. Earth is a great planet here. And I of course declare war. And I backstab him with my ultimate. This was actually a big mistake that hunts us later. Actually, if I reorder these or make a different play later, I could have played one more ultimate this game, and this would have been actually a huge play. But I missed that over here. I decide to focus my culture on the war player. Difficult to remove it because only he can do it. Over here I lose some fights. I destroy the space spawn down here. And now my main fleet is entering. And I see Yondar moving up in the back, so I have to defend that. Also, Yondar is both players here collecting close to Nexus. I am expecting an attack. We engage with a UE player. And I start building one more mega. Getting every point we can. And now last second I realize that I can take the planet back here. I have nearly missed that. That would have been terrible. And yeah. And now I make a big misplay. Okay, so you need to know that there's a hand size limit of 6 edicts. And I look down here and I tell myself, oh, I will redraw my ultimate next turn. And if War decides to attack Nexus, I can actually spawn my fleet here in the back on his production planet and deny Abundant and get it myself because I will hold Earth and the War planet. But what's happening instead? Yeah, build some fleets. That's all not too important. I first consider going for the home planet, but then I realized that my fleet here actually can move into his home system. So I will not go for politic, obviously, because actions are more important. I attack his home system, I go for the planet in the back, and now I take this planet. And the problem is that this planet has FTL. So FTL is added to the front of the queue, and I will not draw my ultimate because I run into the max hand size. And there was no reason to take it this turn. I could have just delayed it and taken the planet next turn, but I just didn't think about FTL actually costing me my ultimate here. And now yeah, we get double ward. So now this is great. I know that basically War and War betrayed me. I expect to draw my ultimate, but I miss it because of that FTL edict. Here I get the Earth planet. Now realize that I just missed out on my ultimate. But luckily, both War and Yondar move in on Nexus. And if only one of them moved in, they probably would have been able to take the planet from me. But since both of them moved in and they don't have a non-aggression pact, they will actually kill each other. And even if one side wins the battle, it's very, very unlikely that they will have enough ships to take my planet, or to take Nexus specifically. And now the rest of the game just plays out as expected. And I just take so many planets from the other brand player, from Aspal, that it's too difficult to stop me here. And the turn runs out. I actually keep Nexus, which is great. Already got these titles, and yeah, maybe I can even beat him because if I have the War Planet, there would have been a massive jump. But yeah, get abundant as well. And of course here, if I'm able to take the planet from War, I would have been even further ahead. So big misplay for not taking this. It was not well enough defended. I could have easily taken the planet, even had a mega structure on it. So yeah. Maybe alternatively, I could have also had a backstep fleet over here positioned. That could have also been very smart. But yeah, did no of these things. We can also now see that there's only 2 connections towards the Ether Drake. Sadly, this was also very unlucky. But yeah, still a win. So yeah, this is my analysis of my Karazhan game. To maybe go back and talk about the most important stuff that happened was, first of all, the decision to attack Avbren, Yondar giving me Nexus, and then the late game war against Aspal. Of course, 3 decisions that basically won me the game. And if we talk about ways to stop me here, maybe Arve can defend his position if he's not taking Nexus, and he basically has far more ships to immediately stop me when I'm moving in. Another thing is Yondar declining my offer to basically give Nexus to me. I think without Nexus I have no chance of winning this, so I will have to war him and that might give enough time to Aspal to actually win the game. But of course, it's a very, very scary situation for the Yondar player. So I can understand why he went for the offer. And yeah, so maybe this helped some